don't want to get political on this account. But it's pretty hard to address this subject without at least mentioning the subjects of politics. I've just caught, some clips of Charlie Kirk's funeral or memorial, whatever it may be. I don't want to do a memoriam on him. I enjoyed his videos, and I thought he was a decent human being. Whether I agreed with everything he spoke of, I can't say yay or nay. As I'm getting older, he certainly made a lot more sense to me. I mentioned previously, I spent a lot of my years, identifying as a leftist, particularly, growing up in a strong union-oriented, labour union-oriented household. My mother, to this day, is a union delegate. I was a union delegate. My father was a union member throughout all his entire working life. But it just seems to be, as I get older, and I've moved on from seeing work as something that's inflicted on someone, rather than, now I see it as a source of pride. You can get satisfaction out of a hard day's work. That never occurred to me. Like I say, work was always something that was inflicted on me. It's and as you have that mindset shift, it's pretty hard to stay onto a hard leftist mindset. But anyway, I've since moved on from. I haven't moved on from leftism. I still, strongly believe in unionism. I think we can all sort of work together and bring a better deal for the working class. I'm not, pie in the sky that we could all just, pull ourselves up from the bootstraps and, all the companies are going to do the right thing and treat us all well. It's not, that's never going to happen. While there's money involved in labour and business, you're always going to have this push-pull. But I digress. One of the, seeing Charlie Kirk shot in the neck when he was simply creating discussion, perhaps you're seeing the world through a different lens. Perhaps your filter is a little bit different to mine. That was his basic rhetoric, and he spoke well. Like I can't say that he wouldn't have been thoroughly schooled by a professor who was well versed in counter rhetoric, I guess, to right-wing talking points, I guess. And he did spend most of his time speaking to college kids, people barely out of school. So I have no was he a legend? Was he a unstoppable force? Well, clearly he was stopped, I don't want to make a joke about that. But anyway, it just sort of reminded me that if you're going to shoot someone for initiating conversation, perhaps your argument is a little bit not good. You know, maybe perhaps if you have to hide the counter argument to the arguments that you're putting forward, perhaps it's bullshit. Anyway, that's me for tonight. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk, and love to his family and supporters, and to my leftist brethren, don't raise your voice, improve your argument. Today's a beautiful day to be alive. It's the 22nd of September 2025.